Warning, the Catholic Man Show contains high levels of manliness. If you think you may be too weak to withstand the manliness represented in the following program, please do yourself a favor and stop listening now. If you choose to continue in spite of this warning, if at any time you feel yourself overcome by the manliness, stop immediately and consult your closest medical professional. And now, for the not-so-fair, faint, or frilly, we present The Catholic Man Show.
Welcome to the Catholic Man Show. We're on the Lord's team, the winning side, so raise your glass. Adam Minahan here, sitting with David Niles and the one and only Father Bryan Ketterer.
Applause. We don't have the sign
blinking
yet.
Blinking applause. Father, thanks so much for coming back. What is this, third or fourth time?
At least. Maybe fifth.
Maybe fifth. Well,
Yeah.
The first one you did with us was Nolan, but we ended up scratching it. If you remember that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We did a whole episode.
and it didn't, and we lost the
And we
audio.
lost the audio.
Saddest day in Catholic Man Show history.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There haven't been a whole lot of sad days
Yeah.
in Catholic Man Show history. That was definitely the saddest.
But so really, I think you've been the most frequent guest on the Catholic Man Show.
Yeah, it's definitely more than 3.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's
Yeah.
4. 4 would be the absolute minimum.
A couple in studio, excuse me. And then we did the one live recording. Oh, I did helped record at the camp out.
Yes.
We did a
Yeah.
couple years ago, so
Yep.
at least 2 off-site ones.
I'm so glad you brought up the camp out because I was going to do this and I totally forgot up until now. I am opening up the camp out signups this week.
It's official.
It is official. You can go to the Catholic Man Show. You'll see the little banner that scrolls through to sign up.
TheCatholicManShow.com.
CatholicManShow.com. Yes, CatholicManShow.com. You can see the little banner. Click on it and sign up to be a part of the Catholic Man Show Camp Out this year. Clear Creek Abbey, October 18th to the 21st, 22nd,
21st.
Yes.
18th through the 21st. It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah.
And we're opening up a little bit more. I think we're gonna have 45 available. So a little bit more than what we did last year.
Yeah. I'm working on getting a tour/demonstration from the blacksmith who's there in Clear Creek, who is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's one of the best in the world.
Yeah, he is.
And we're not taking that lightly.
He's like an artist. He practices the artistry of blacksmithery.
Nifty. Is it one of the monks?
No.
Oh.
It's a layman.
All right.
And he moved there specifically for this purpose, like to help the monks.
Cool.
So anyway, we're working on getting that down, which would be so sweet.
Yes. Along with many other things that we're going to be doing at the camp out. We'll give more details as it gets
Lots
closer.
of other manly things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm really pumped about this beverage.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Like really pumped. I'm gonna let you. I'm just giving it to you, Father, and let you take control.
I'm going to start trying to crack this.
Okay.
We'll see how we do here on air. Oh, there we go. Nice.
Very well done.
Let's go for a pour.
First try.
Okay.
So this is the Marshall 10 Islay Scotch barrel. So Marshall is a local brewery celebrating their 10th anniversary. They're one of the original breweries here in Tulsa.
Yeah, were they the first? We were trying to figure this out the other day.
I don't think so exactly. I think there have been a few like brew pubs and a few other things in and out over the years. But they're definitely, I would say, one of the first in the more recent like craft beer scene. So this is their 10th anniversary. I was thinking, it seemed like yesterday that I was sharing the 5th anniversary beer with Juan and some friends, but man, that was 5 years ago. I guess I was a deacon at that point. So this is their 10th anniversary. It's a Belgian strong ale, and they aged it in 8 or 10 different types of barrels just to celebrate for their anniversary. This is the Islay Scotch barrels. So it was actually aged in Lafroig barrels.
So they didn't say Lafroig barrels on the bottle.
It did not.
But you knowing the brewer
So
got
I
the
went and
inside
asked,
scoop.
and they said Lafroig, and I'm like, I'll take 2. One for me and one for the Catholic Man Show. And I really wanted to wait and reveal that fact on air, but I couldn't. I had to tell them.
It's probably good because I may have fallen out of my chair.
Yeah.
It's about what I did when I got the text message about this
Yes.
beer.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. This is an ale that after they've brewed it and gone through that whole process, then they put it in old Lefroy barrels to age for how many days? Or
a few months, maybe
Few months?
four
Wow.
months or so.
Wow, that's a long time.
okay,
I
and then
think
they
it's
pour
time-
it out.
Yeah,
Let's
I
do
think
it.
it's time to cheers to Jesus.
We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
Cheers to Jesus.
Oh my gosh. The smoky at the end
And
is incredible.
and up front, but it just lingers.
Yeah, but it's like, wow, that is the smokiest beer I've ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
This beer is smokier than some scotches I've had.
Oh yeah, totally.
Wow.
That's it. I mean, that's
That is
like,
incredible.
That's like I have a cigar right in front of me, kind of smoky.
Yes. Smoking the wrong end of a cigar, kind of smoky.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't realize you could get a beer that smoky.
Yeah, I haven't had many that are even close, I don't think.
So is it? It's not a like quad ale or anything like. It's just a regular
I don't
ale.
think they specified.
Specified? Okay.
Some kind of Belgian strong ale.
Uh-huh.
Remind me what makes it a quad anyway.
It's just kind of a designation we give it, but the style tends to be a little bit more fruity. A lot of good esters. Of
So it's not like
grapefruit.
brewed longer or.
It's
Is
generally
it
brewed a
typically
little bit
stronger?
longer.
Is it stronger in alcohol?
Usually, yeah, it's usually around 10%. So it's stronger than a double, which is usually like 7 or 8%. But there's nothing that makes it like twice as much as a double,
Right,
Or,
okay.
or a third more than a triple, or any of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Juan, you want to put that on
Yeah,
the beverage cam?
Get that on the beverage. If you haven't had a chance, go over to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're now recording all the videos, and we're feeling much more confident with our.
Indeed. Much more confident.
Yes.
Especially with the assistance here of the wonderful Juan Posada.
Mm-hmm.
I almost said ineffable, but I've been getting
Criticized.
yeah, for using beautiful languages. A beautiful word. People.
This is
A
great.
beautiful word about a beautiful man.
Okay, so you are. You just received new Focus missionaries
We did.
at the TU Newman Center.
Yeah.
Talk about you had 4.
So we have 4 missionaries, 1 returner, and then 3 brand new ones.
Okay.
So one of them says hello, by the way.
Yeah.
Ethan Stevie.
Mm-hmm.
The one and only one of the 2 on the Crunch podcast.
Yeah, he's been on our show.
Yep. Oh, nice. Wait,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember when that was.
It was
a while
It was
ago.
a while
Okay.
ago. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, so actually I found out more about him from Adam than I knew when he had joined the team this summer. So I'm like, okay, well, he knows all about my teammate. So
A really good Twitter follow.
Yes.
Actually, I don't remember
Yeah.
his handle. Do you know his handle?
Bropostle.
Bropostle, that's right.
Yeah.
Bropostle.
That's a good name
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
he's got more followers than I'll ever have. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I have like 22, I think.
wow.
It's incredible.
Almost double what Jesus had initially.
Well, when I think my very first tweet was something like, "Hey, I'm on Twitter. I'm trying to get more followers than Jesus." That's obviously not going to happen.
My first tweet was from Star Wars that Obi-Wan Kenobi said to Luke Skywalker. What was it? You're now entering into a much bigger world.
Oh.
Something like that as he's starting to learn the Force.
Nice.
When I first got on Twitter, I did not know
What to do?
what is the purpose of why are we tweeting? Like, what are we doing? What are you supposed to say? It's still, I think, unclear. Like, I think society is getting a handle on it. Like, Facebook versus Instagram versus Twitter. What is appropriate for what? But
Yeah.
it's a complicated world.
Yeah,
Today.
I mean, Twitter at first was a lot more just quick thoughts, but now that there's 280 character limit, you can like write essays to each other,
Right.
which was more a Facebook thing formerly.
Mm-hmm. Right. And now the young kids, the kids these days, they're not even on Facebook. They think like, oh, it's for old people.
It's true. We've had to move away from advertising a lot of our stuff on Facebook because our freshmen don't have Facebook, or very few of them.
Really?
It's
Or
all
they-
Instagram
Or
and
they don't
Twitter.
check it often. Yeah,
The irony
a
is
lot of Snapchat, but I try not to venture into that too much.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's some
Snapchat.
dangers in my line of work. Being
Ever
on
since
Snapchat.
they took the score away from Snapchat, I was totally uninterested. Like I was trying to beat all my friends, and then it's like, oh, well, you can't win.
They like continuous days.
No. That's a new thing. They used to have a score. This was like, it was just the total number of Snapchats you have sent and received.
Oh.
And so, like, you could look at anybody that you were connected with. You could see their score. And, like, I enjoyed winning.
Yeah.
I still enjoy winning at things. But now that I cannot do that with Snapchat, I just became less interested.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't win everything.
But anyway, I think it's ironic that kids, like, no, Facebook, it's dumb. I'm on Instagram. And I wonder if they know that's owned by Facebook. You're still on, more or less, you're just on picture Facebook is all you're doing.
But I mean, Facebook's become just picture Facebook anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I know. Unless it's political season.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Then it becomes stay off Facebook season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess political season will probably start any month here now. It's like 3 years until the next election, so.
It's always political season these days. This is like a topic that I have a lot of thoughts on. I've shared a lot of them with Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Just my opinion on social media in general. And it's not a good one. I'll just tell you that. Like, my opinion of it is very low because I feel like it encourages it's just a bunch of lies. You're not friends with these people. Okay, like you have 1,000 friends. No, you don't.
Unless you're on the Council of Man Facebook page, then you're friends with them.
Yeah, like some of your real friends you are connected with on Facebook. But that just because you're a friend on Facebook, it's a lie.
It's true. But I've made lots of good friends from people.
I know
on Facebook.
that's the problem. There's good parts of it. Anyway,
So we're drinking this delicious ale that was aged in Lefroy barrels. We're going to talk about cigar cutters as a man, Garrett. Next segment. Hang in there. We're on the Lord's team.
the winning side.
So raise your glass.
Man, I had no idea this was going to be so smoky. The cigar cutter is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Father, I have a 5 year left.
Oh, you got a 5 year left.
Yes.
Unopened, right?
Oh, no,
Just wanted to check.
It's just the leftovers from
I
that
do
party.
have the bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we drank it when you guys were still at that apartment by the drillers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's first time I met Juan. He was over there. Like the first day we met,
Tell the story.
and he was like, "We're gonna smoke cigars," and I was like, "Great, I'm in." Except it was cold. Was it like winter
It was really cold, yeah.
and maybe raining? I don't.
Mm-hmm. It was raining.
So the plan was we're gonna smoke them inside,
Oh no.
and
Great
we're
Because
gonna.
plan.
your floor is just like hardwood.
Yeah, and but he's like, we're gonna open a window, and I was like,
I think I remember hearing about that.
This-
the whole time I
I'm-
was like,
I'm so glad this isn't at my house, but I'm in.
I'm like,
And
you're newlyweds.
I wanted to. It's
might
like,
not last
Juan,
long.
you're sure about this, right? Like this is totally Joan's okay if we do this. She's like, yeah, I talked to her, and I was like, all right, man. And I was just like, just between you and me, this is the last time you're ever gonna get to do this. I promise.
Yeah.
And it wasn't it, Juan?
Yes.
It was the last
it
one.
was.
Yeah.
But it was great. We were just sitting on his couch, or like a couch thing, by a big open window, just smoking cigars inside. Nothing better,
Smoke
man.
detector.
Yeah.
I was trying to impress you, so you like me.
Well, it worked. It worked.
I'm gonna have to try to find if I have photos of that Marshall 5. Wonder if Juan's in the background.
What do you do with all your beer photos?
Just keep them on my phone.
Like, do you like move them to a certain place, or you just?
I have so many at this point.
That would be a big.
process
It would
of
be a
that-
project, yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wish I had Untapped, but I didn't even find out about the app until I'd had so many beers.
You should raise his mic stand for him.
Yes, that would help.
Because he's having like.
Move this camera a little bit more. Like you have a lot of space to your left, and
Ooh,
Father Bryan
yes,
is covering
there we
his shoulder.
Yeah.
So just like there,
Ooh.
that's a bit
That better?
better. Yeah, that's a lot better.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed.
Oh,
All
I'm gonna
right.
have to lose some weight if I would
I
do
never
this show
saw
and
that.
now.
You never saw the recording for the video, right?
Yeah, the video.
Yeah, the
keeps
video
going.
you keep
That's
going.
the worst thing about video is I can't like slouch. I have to have good posture
Good
the whole
posture.
time.
Drink like a man.
Yes.
Do you want me to give you guys the 2-minute warning?
No.
No.
There's
Okay.
one.
Yeah, just a 1 minute warning's
Just 1 minute
fine.
warning? Okay.
Is
'Cause I
one
can't-
until the music ends? Because it felt like about 30 seconds until the music kicked on after that.
Yeah, it's 1 minute is. It's 30 seconds of music.
Okay.
So when he
It
said
is.
1 minute, that means you got 30 seconds of
Okay.
and then 30
got it.
seconds.
So I'm like, ooh, came quick.
Yeah, but the minute's nice because I can't quite see
Yeah, I know.
what's going on over there. So
I know at one point I was like, should I look? Everyone's watching me. Thank goodness we're not on Facebook Live.
Okay,
All right.
let's roll.
Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles. To my left is the one and only Adam Minahan. To my right is the holy man himself, Father Bryan Ketterer, priest of God.
That's right.
Thanks for being here, Father Bryan.
No problem.
And thanks for this beer.
Heck yeah.
And thank you to Mr. Marshall. Is there a Mr. Marshall?
Eric Marshall.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric Marshall. Whether this was your idea or not, you were the, maybe not the efficient cause, but I'm sure Thomas Aquinas has a cause, a name, type of cause for you that.
He's the head brewer, so we could call it the head brewer.
He would have been the
cause.
efficient cause.
Yeah.
Yes. He's not just the owner.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Marshall, Eric.
I heard he actually
Sir.
swam over and picked up the barrels and tied them to a rope and swam back.
That makes sense.
After
drinking
tasting
this, yeah.
I do not doubt it. I would. 15 minutes ago, I would have said poppycock. Nay, no longer would I say that.
I wonder if he owns a square foot of land over there.
The question is should
In
you ever
Scotland.
say that?
I would have said it.
Well, I know, but the question is, should you ever?
There are certain moments. It has to be the right moment.
Well, yeah, I agree.
I'm glad that moment was recorded on this show.
Yeah, you guys are welcome. So before we get into the man gear, I'll give you guys a heads up on another first that happened to me. Actually, not a first, but something that happened to me that hasn't happened in over 10 years today.
Okay.
I got a speeding ticket today.
Ooh.
Over 10 years.
Bummer.
It's been over 10 years. But shout out to all the police officers that listen to our show. I know there are some. We have some even on the council.
Yeah.
So thanks for keeping us safe.
Well, were you speeding?
Oh, dude, I was really speeding. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you were a nuisance to society.
I
That's
was
what-
at the time. I deserved the speeding ticket. I was going 73 and a 45.
Whoa.
Oh wow. That's like
That's speeding.
yes.
But it was like one of those. It was down the high, like a turnpike. The speed limit was 75. We hit a
Oh, yeah,
city,
those speed
and it
traps.
dropped down.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. So you were coming up 30. Is it
75.
75.
Oh yeah, 75.
Yeah, and
Yeah, man.
I was just not paying attention to the speed limits. Because you've been used to going 75 miles an hour,
Right.
Yep.
and I was messing
That
with
is
the
so
kids.
hard to do.
Yeah.
They used
And-
to have a old police car sitting there, like
Yeah, just stationed.
on the hill.
Mhm.
So you come by and you just slam on your brakes, and your brakes start smoking because they're burning because you're trying to
Right.
cool it
Yeah.
down. And then you realize like, oh, it's the empty police car that sits there all the
all
time.
the time. Yeah. But
So
he was
what
really
town? What town were you coming into?
Henrietta, right off the turnpike.
You didn't even tell him like, look, I got family here, man.
No, I didn't. But he was very kind. He dropped it down to where it was only a 10. I was going
Yeah.
10 over.
Less
So it
than- yeah,
didn't hit my insurance.
Yeah, that
which
is
I'm
good.
Wow.
very grateful. But 73
Yeah.
and 45.
No, that
hit-
place is dangerous. I know. Just slow down.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's painful. It feels inefficient. Just slow down.
And Henrietta's a little bigger than other towns. You
Mhm.
gotta
Yep.
Anyway, were you in the van?
I was in the van.
Okay, well that helps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if
Henrietta, the home of two Cowboys.
if you were in just your truck,
yeah, it would have been toast.
yeah, who knows if the Mercy would be so.
But
so
Henrietta's the home of two
generous.
Cowboys, Jim Shoulders and Troy Aikman.
Troy Aikman.
oh yeah.
Did you have your picture with Troy
No, not
in the
I
car with
should
you?
have. I wish
you don't keep that with you
I
when
don't
you go
keep that.
places.
I don't, but I should have.
That surprises me, honestly.
I know, that's shocking. Let's get into the man gear.
Okay.
I didn't mean for it to talk about the speeding ticket this
So
long.
we're talking. Our man gear today is a cigar cutter.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different kinds of cigar cutters, and it fits in so well with this beer because this beer is so smoky.
Mm-hmm.
I've had cigars that are less smoky than this beer.
I have too. I'm not kidding. Like this beer is smoky.
Yeah.
Uh,
Here's one of mine.
Yeah, this
just-
is your new punch. Is
Yeah.
this the one you got for free?
Yes. And
Yeah,
I really
like-
enjoy it.
I like free.
So it's a
Put it in the beverage can.
in beverage can. Producer one says beverage can. So it is. I actually tied it to my decade rosary because a lot of times I go outside and smoke a cigar, and it's like I could pray the rosary.
Great idea.
Perfect.
Clever.
Perfect.
Great idea.
Opportunity, and you just pop it off right there. the punch, take the cigar, and you just punch it down.
A little twist.
Get a little twist, and you're good.
Yeah.
I've been using this punch a lot recently. I'm
Yes.
actually a big
Yeah.
fan of it. I
You know-
used to just chew my cigars off, like the tips off.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
I didn't mind it. You can
Yeah.
you kind of chew on it for a little bit.
Yeah, but
and then it comes off pretty
You
easy.
really run the risk of the wrapper unwrapping.
And then
now,
you get flakes in your mouth. And
yeah, I know,
bad
and that's super
draw.
annoying. Now, what you can do is if you slobber on it for a long time, the cap, which is a separate wrapper,
right.
it will
That's what you
peel
do.
off.
That's what you do. You chew on that just a little bit.
Yeah, and you can kind of work that off with your teeth, but you got to get it wet for a long. I mean, it's not like you can just go outside and lick it and it's
Right.
going to come off.
Right.
Because you got to kind of like undo. I don't know how they glue it. I mean, I don't know what they do
I
to a
don't know.
cigar to keep it together, but
Lick it. Use a little something or other.
I mean,
Little
there's got to
wet
be
paste.
a glue, a paste, of some kind that's just
Yeah.
whatever they do.
I don't know.
But if you
I don't know about that.
you can eventually get that cap off and you can smoke it that way. That works
Yeah.
fine. In fact, you can draw it really well,
Right.
Because the whole cap's gone. But I used your punch. I have not used a punch much, but I used yours the other day, and it was really nice.
Yeah, it draws really nice.
Yeah.
It did
Makes
draw
a nice,
nice.
clean hole.
Yeah.
There's some cigars that don't work well with a punch, and I'm not sure, but someone was
Torpedoes ones.
well, those definitely don't.
Right.
But even some rounded ones, somebody was telling me the way they wrap certain brands of cigars, the punch doesn't work as well. I think
Interesting.
Maybe because they have like a thicker like cap, so instead of all the leaf just going parallel right up to the top part, they have like a couple more layers of cap, so it just doesn't draw as well. But
Okay.
yeah, I do like a punch from time to time, but there's some I've punched and like this isn't working, and then I just cut it.
Well, if you are looking for good cigar recommendations, we have a couple gentlemen in the Council of Man who are
Yeah. Cigar connoisseurs.
yes,
Aficionados.
aficionados.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
To quote the magazine.
Yeah.
Just I see some of the reviews that they do, and it's just amazing. Also, Father, you're really good at reviewing a cigar.
Yeah.
You just have a good palate. It's just
Yeah.
not fair.
What can I say?
Yeah, it's a gift.
So
it's
do
a
you
gift.
do you like cat eyes as a
I'm
cigar cutter?
I'm a big fan of the cat's eye.
I don't think I've ever used it.
Really?
It's like the V cut. I have a couple of them. In fact, I got a really nice one for Christmas that my brother got for me. It's like real heavy, like
Yeah.
when you hold it, you can just tell like
Feels-
this is quality. It's
This is
quality.
manly.
It's quality, yeah. And I like it because you get increase the surface area of cut, so you get a good draw without running that risk of cutting off too much of a circle. If you just
Yeah.
have a flat cutter, what do you call
Got
the
it.
flat cutters? Just a cutter, just a
guillotine cutter.
Guillotine.
yeah, guillotine maybe. Okay, so anyway, the cat's eye kind of also it's very repeatable. It's consistent. You just there's like a groove. You put your cigar there, and you boom, you're gonna get the same cut every time. So it kind of helps you judge the cigar maybe a little bit better, because if it's up to you just to do the guillotine, maybe sometimes you cut off more than the other, and
It's true.
you don't know like, is this not drawing well because the cigar is just too tight, or did I not cut enough off? You know what I mean?
Might have to give it a shot.
I have an extra one. I'll give it to you.
Nice. Look
Yeah.
at that.
It's
Come on the
I've been
Catholic Man
asking.
Show,
I've been asking
give
for
him a
that
beer.
for 3 years, and he said no.
Well, what can I say? You didn't bring them a Lafroig aged
This
Marshall
is true.
10.
This is exactly. This is it. This is true.
Beer opens doors.
It does. It definitely does. There is such a thing as beer evangelization.
Yeah. The beerization, beer
Beer ministry is what I call it.
ministry. I like that. Because you're ministering to yourself too.
Yeah, a little bit. Secondarily.
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like sometimes you just need to relax a little bit. The Holy Spirit can speak to you.
Yeah.
Just all the better.
You just have to be aware when you go out to have beers with Adam, he'll get you signed up to do something. So,
Really?
yeah, he's like, hey, we should go out for beers, and then you can be the speaker at the St. Michael radio fundraiser. I'm like, oh, okay. Thanks for the beer.
I did do that. Yeah, I did. I definitely did that.
Oh, thanks for doing
I
that, by the way,
appreciate it.
Father. Yeah.
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 I probably would have said yes over text, but I got beer out of it.
November 30th. 31st?
We had good
November
conversation
30th.
too.
30th. There is no November 31st.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
There should be.
Have you guys seen
Yeah,
the
I
cigar
agree.
cutters that are the cigar cutter and lighter combo? Have you seen that before?
have.
I have, yes.
Have you used it? Is it effective? I've seen them. I've not used one, and I thought it's like one of those things like, ooh, that's a good idea, but is it really effective?
it's more like a last resort kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that's kind of how I felt.
So my dad has a nice Zycar lighter.
Oh yeah.
And it has a cutter built in, but it's the opening is so small you can't hardly use it.
Unless it's like a Corona-sized cigar or something.
Yeah. If you have a smaller cigar, it would work. But I've never used it because typically, just like I don't know what a regular gauge. I'm gonna just call it a regular sized cigar.
About a 50, maybe.
Whatever that is. I know it's not
That's
a Corona.
embarrassing.
It's bigger than a Corona. It just doesn't work for that particular cutter. So I think that there's no reason why a cutter that's built into a lighter wouldn't work well. It could be great.
Sure.
I think it depends again on the brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zycar
is
is
good stuff.
Yeah,
and the
Zycar.
warranties are
warranty,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, lifetime. In fact, his stopped
No
working.
question asked.
Yeah, just take it back to any place. Boom, here you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen one. Again, I haven't used one, but I thought I'd like to try one.
So also Ken Sabbath, he has it's a guillotine cutter, but there's a back to it. So you put it through the opening, but there's
a safety.
Yeah, there's only
Oh yeah, it can only go
there's
in
like
a
a
couple
wall.
millimeters.
Yeah, a couple millimeters. It's real
Yeah.
small. So like you have to clip it a couple times if you want to get a bigger, but it does
Yeah.
allow for that same consistency of cut, you
Yeah.
know.
And some people take a normal cutter and set it on the table and then put their cigar in vertically and then just cut just that little couple millimeters off.
Oh, really?
So some people just like a smaller cut,
Interesting.
a less aggressive cut.
But I will say a cheap cigar cutter
It's not worth it.
Do not do it. Invest $10 at least in a cigar cutter, because if you get a bad cut, it ruins the whole cigar.
Is this the bad time to say I use 99-cent cigar cutters regularly?
Well, as long as they're sharp. As long as they're sharp.
Yeah, yeah. When we get back, we're going to jump into the topic. We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
I'm empty.
There's dregs.
So at one point, the recording cube just like shifted all the way out. I almost had a heart attack.
The
But-
what?
It just scrolled down.
It scrolls on its own. when
Yeah.
you do that.
Right.
I thought I messed up something
Oh.
about this freaked out in here.
You're a good one.
Yeah, as long as you click off of that screen, it should just keep doing its thing.
Yeah, that's what I did. But
Yeah.
I just in the corner of my eye, I just
Oh.
moved really fast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
It was
what's
a demon.
That's funny.
Okay, so we can just talk about.
How do you want to what relationship with Jesus?
Yeah.
Is that how you want to
and I don't
call
have
it?
like an outline or.
Shocker, ladies and
class
gentlemen.
and agenda.
Shocker.
Catholic Man Show.
Yeah. It's just a casual conversation
Okay.
with three Catholic dudes with Juan in the background.
So I think some points about head versus heart.
Mhm.
And then I think guys struggle more with entering into that relationship, where
Yeah.
women like more naturally
That's exactly what I was.
have that.
Yeah.
But
I
then
agree.
men tend to go deeper once they get that because they have to work for it. So they can go deeper
Interesting point.
faster.
Yeah.
But women just kind of get it off the cuff
Mhm.
more naturally.
So, Father, can you say anything about like, you know, like what kind of things do you pray to Jesus that you wouldn't exactly pray to, I don't know, God the Father or the Holy Spirit,
Ooh.
and how that would be like a building relationship point because you're supposed to ask for that with Him directly.
Trying to think.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's like I don't know. I think I'm more intuitive than like can put words to it.
I don't think you have to worry
Think
about
it.
Well, maybe I misunderstood the question, but you can ask Jesus any question that you can ask God.
Yeah, but
The
I think
Father.
sometimes if there's like struggles with things, because knowing that like He has struggled with them too.
I mean, like
Yeah.
you wouldn't like naturally ask, I don't know, forgiveness from the Holy Spirit.
Well, you could and you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
They do have their own
that's what I'm trying to
charisms. You know,
that's
like
what I'm trying to get to.
yeah, it's like, oh, Holy Spirit, open my heart. You know what though? Like, I'm not good about praying to the Holy Spirit. I think there's a lot of guys. The Holy Spirit kind of gets third wheeled a lot. I think in the Trinity.
Let's
Yeah.
change the topic to Holy Spirit.
I'm not ready for that one. Or at least I'm not. Maybe
Not
I
after
can
this-
sit there and listen
not
to you
after
guys.
this beer.
I'm not ready. Like, I'm bad at it, is what I'm saying. I'm saying that's what I do.
I'm really bad at this. That should be our topic. That's what we're
All right.
doing.
Well, let's talk about it. Because,
Yeah.
those who can't do, teach. So.
Right. Yeah.
The topic is humility.
Right. All right. Well, let's just get started.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Come, Holy Spirit.
In Jesus.
Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. Here with Father Bryan Ketterer in studio. It is a great time to be a Catholic dad.
Totally.
Great time to be a Catholic father.
Yes.
We can make a big impact moving forward in the future of the church.
Yeah.
You know, people always say, like, what can we do? Give me something tangible. Look, there's something right now you can do. Go home, love your wife.
Make a baby.
And make some saints.
Yeah.
We got to make some saints because we need our sons to be holy men of God. They have to fulfill their vocation. They have to be, hopefully some of them can be holy priests, holy fathers. I just feel like
We need
live
holy,
their
we need holy
vocation.
sisters.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And we
Yes,
just
yes.
fulfill their vocations.
Yeah, I agree.
So right now is a great time to be a Catholic father, is a great time to be a Catholic dad.
You know what? I just gotta. You brought this up, so I just gotta say this. You've heard me tell this story before. After my first daughter was born, my first day back to work, there's a lady I work with. She's like, "Oh, congratulations!" And she looked at me and said, "Like, so are you guys done?" And kind of shook her
They're
head.
just getting started.
And it was like, what? And I said, we only have one kid. This is our first kid. Like,
Right.
maybe you didn't realize that. She'd go, I know, but, that's enough for some people. And I just looked at her and, I didn't know what to say. And,
These people are parents?
well, anyway, here's what I think. And so, this has come up. Now that I have 3 kids, I'm, turning into the weirdo in the office, okay? So, someone said something, I don't remember what it was, but they said, well, that's a lot of kids. And I said to her, do you think that you would, what if you had one more kid? And when you were having children, because she was, she's not going to have kids now, but do you think you would have regretted that? And she's like, no, I wouldn't have. And it's like, then why would you not? Because I think, I know what she said. She said, I'm glad I only had 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurt me. It hurt my feelings, not for me, but that that she would feel that way.
Yeah.
And so I said, do you think you would have regretted it? Like, if you had a 3rd child, would you look at them and say, man, I really wish you didn't exist?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't. And it's like, I just want to remind everybody that
Well,
if you have another child, if you choose to do that, it will be hard, but you will never regret it. Not a day in your life will you regret having another child.
One of the guys that I work with, I have 3, so I'm also kind of in your boat where I'm the weirdo, right?
Right,
with,
yeah.
With 3 kids.
It's like you're borderline.
Yeah, you're not having any more, right?
Yeah.
You're definitely cut off. And I said, no, we'll God willing, we're gonna have more. He goes, better get a TV. And I said, what do you mean? He's like, if you're want to have more kids, you should invest in a TV instead. And I said, hold on, you're telling me that you think that watching TV is better than sex? You're doing it wrong, man. Like this implication.
I'm gonna have to take your word for it.
Yeah, I mean, but this implication.
He's right, Father.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think that a TV is a good substitute than renewing your marriage vows with your wife, you're doing it wrong.
I agree.
Or than just playing with kids.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
That's such a weird idea. I'm sure that you can get psychological about that understanding of you want to substitute something material for something that you should not be substituting material. Anyway, that's not the topic today.
No, it's not.
No, it's
we're
not.
way off.
Maybe it should be a topic soon, but because I have a lot
Shocker.
More, I have a lot of things queued up in my head that I'm having to
suppress.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the
So
topic.
we want to talk about today your relationship with Jesus. Okay, I was just thinking about this. As a man, I have a desire and a natural inclination to study apologetics, to study head knowledge sort of things. But I think sometimes I forget to prioritize truly having a relationship with Jesus instead of like instead of just studying Jesus, and learning about him. And it's important to do that, because the more you know about him, the deeper you can
Understand.
have a relationship with him. Like if you don't know someone, it's really hard to have a relationship with them. But just taking on that spiritual side, I think that's kind of hard for us men. Is certainly when you compare it to women. Father, you said that off camera.
You're totally stealing his stuff.
Well,
my
I mean,
goodness.
I said it too. Okay. But
he agreed with me.
I was
so-
gonna give-
Exactly. Yeah, what he said is what I was going to say.
Yeah, it was just naturally, I think women are more in tune with the spirituality, with the spiritual life, where men, it's a little bit more of a struggle, I think, initially with that. Just even for guys, they don't make friends just in the natural world as easily, I think, as women do.
Yeah.
But when they do, when they work for it, those friendships go deeper, I think, a lot quicker. Where women, it's because it comes so easy, maybe they don't have to work as hard, and it takes a little longer for those relationships to deepen. So I think it's very
that's
similar in the
interesting.
spiritual life.
Yeah, and so I just think we have to be more intentional. We have to put it on our calendar. Practice relationship with Jesus. I'm going to do that today from 5 to 7, and it's going to be wonderful.
I mean, go to church and notice, like, male and female, what the percent is. It's like 80% women, 20% men.
Yeah, it's
You're lucky.
At a good parish.
Yeah, it's stark.
And it's like, why is that? I think it's just women naturally gravitate toward that relationship of spirituality.
One of the things that you just saying that it triggered my mind about when I read about Mother Angelica, and they were always talking about her relationship with Jesus. Now, she obviously had an extraordinary one, being that baby Jesus came and talked to her.
Right.
But outside of that, they said that she shared everything she had with Jesus, including to the point where when she got new shoes, she went into adoration right after buying the new shoes to show Jesus, these are my new shoes.
Check them out.
Do you like them? Like that was her intent. Like it was such a personal relationship that I want to share everything with. Obviously, he knew she bought shoes.
Right.
But it was the act of I'm sharing everything I have with you.
That is incredible.
Yeah. New shoes.
Yeah, and it's like I would totally feel silly doing that.
Yeah, but she
But-
has a relationship with.
Right.
It's a real relationship with Jesus.
Yeah, authentic.
Yeah, and so that's
It's
what
like something a child would do.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
When they talk about
Yeah.
being like children, that's what they're talking about. Not
Totally.
being whiny and cryy and all that kind of stuff, but actually
Right.
just being authentic. That's what a child is, authentic. They don't know how to be anything different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. And so like one thing that I've been trying to work on a lot lately is
To stop sinning.
well,
Humility?
I'm
Oh, wait,
working
you already
I'm,
have
I'm
that.
working. Yeah, guys, come on. I'm not
Can we keep guessing? I like this game better.
If we guess enough, he'll forget.
what were we talking about? No, it's just the idea of like taking Jesus with me into everything that I do, into the when I am typing on my computer or when I'm eating lunch or when just like literally everywhere I go, and I'm just so easily distracted that I forget, but sometimes I've been doing better lately about remembering when I'm walking out of my office, like, oh yeah, Jesus, come with me, and just this idea of having a place inside of my heart, my soul, just whatever that is, for Jesus only. It's not for my wife. It's not for my kids. It's not for anybody. It is for Christ. And, that he would have like his own little apartment inside of my soul. And just keeping that for him. And I think it goes like silence is important.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you fill yourself with something else, then all of a sudden, you crowd him out. But,
I think I would argue, though, that the little part of heart that you have for Christ, you could give him your whole heart, and then it all bleeds into everything else.
Yeah. And
Because, like-
you have to understand the metaphor. It's you want to give him everything, but then he will, in turn, say,
A place that's only Christ.
right. He'll say, all right, you've given me this whole house. Well, I want you to use this part for your wife, use this part of your house, so to speak, if your soul is a house, for your work, for your hobbies, for your children.
Okay. Yeah, I
but
see what you're saying.
this portion I give to nobody. He reserves it for
It's to you
himself.
alone.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
because it is important.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a similar thing in a church. There's different parts of the church. There's the entryway, there's the pews, there's like where the choir is, but there's a part of the church that's Jesus only.
Yeah.
You don't do other things in that. But is that
Huh.
that doesn't mean Jesus isn't in other aspects of the church life. He's not avoiding the youth room or anything like that. He's there, but there's
Is he in the cry room? That's the question.
well, he has his ears plugged, but he's there. But yeah, there's that part of the church, in the sanctuary there at the tabernacle where Christ is, and that's a place for Christ only. And I think there's a place in each of our souls that's God only, Christ only.
So,
that's a great. Yeah, I like that.
Father, let me ask you this, because I think one thing that it's easy for me to misunderstand is the difference between having a relationship with Christ and having emotions about Christ. Like I might say, well, I don't have a lot of feelings throughout the day. Does that mean I don't have a relationship with him?
No, I think it means you're a man.
Okay. Good. I knew that. I knew it this whole time.
Yeah. It's more than a feeling, if I can quote Boston, I believe it is.
Yes.
So yeah, it's faith is definitely more than a feeling. Sometimes feelings can help lead you to faith. We see it a lot, especially with retreats with the youth. Sometimes the first encounter they have with Christ is maybe inspired by a feeling, but it needs to go deeper than that. Just with any friend, I'm sure with your wife and your kids, there's times where it's like, yes, this is great. I wish this lasted forever. And there's times where it's like, that feeling's gone. Does that mean I don't love my wife and my kids?
Right.
I definitely don't believe so.
Yeah, and in many ways, once those feelings fade, it's really a sign of a mature relationship. That we don't need these uplifting, like, oh, I love you so much. Like, you hang up. No, you hang up. Like we don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
To
either a
satisfy
maturity
us.
or maybe a deepening, an invitation into maturity.
Yeah.
It might be God testing us and saying, what can you do without these little, sugar nuggets, these little cookies, spiritual cookies?
Yes.
I do love sugar nuggets, though. When we get back on the other side of the break, we're going to keep talking about this. We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
I do love sugar nuggets, though.
Sugar cube. Sugar cube.
You said that so nonchalant, too, though. I do love those sugar nuggets, though. But anyway, when we get back.
I was like, ooh, sugar nuggets.
I don't even know what those are, but I like
I was
them.
thinking like sugar cubes.
I was thinking, like, that's when you open the brown sugar,
Yeah.
and there's like a big clump of it over there, and you're like, ooh, that.
Yeah.
And you try to pick it up real, just like, this clump is mine. Don't squeeze it too
That's
tight.
what you say after 2 weeks of working too hard. Words are hard.
Words
Yes,
are hard. Words
they
are hard.
They are hard.
Words are hard. Okay.
I think we coined that phrase.
Words are hard.
We coined that phrase.
Phrase.
Copyrighted.
Yes, trademark.
Okay. What's the,
ABV.
yeah.
It's like 10 or 11.
72.
Feels like it. We need a fan
It's
in here to
hot,
keep
yeah.
us from looking like we're all drunks.
Okay.
Is it on?
David, I thought you were gonna talk about the interior castle that you've been reading.
Yeah. I will.
9.1.
We
You know
still
what?
have another. He can't give everything.
I've been really struggling
third
with that
segment.
book. That book is not easy. It's her writing style is like
Is it? I've heard that it's like
kind
a
of
lot
all over the place.
Yeah, I heard that she's just.
She's not giving.
she's like
rambling.
giving to
wow,
She-
very ADD, and
yeah,
like
that's what I've heard.
she'll like start a sentence
I
and
just think
then
try-
like and like kind of have this like comma because this and this and then like and that goes on for a long time and then like it ends and then she finishes that first sentence and you're like, what? And you have to go back and
To
figure
try to
out
figure
like
out what you're actually
just
talking
ignore
about.
all that in the middle. Like she's just trying to say something really short, but she also admits that all the time. Like, also, I'm just so terrible at writing and blah 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 blah. It's very edifying.
But you poor suckers will have to read it for centuries. So
Right. Yeah. And let's keep going. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
now that we just recorded our full segment.
Right. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles. We are in studio today. We have our Viaggi candle lit. We have a special guest, Father Bryan Ketterer, Diocese of Tulsa in eastern Oklahoma. And of course, I'm joined by my friend Adam Minahan. Juan.
I'm still your friend?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's my friend too.
Another week.
We're all friends.
It's all good.
We're all friends for now.
I hate you later.
Yep. But
Don't cross me.
don't cross me.
But I like you.
Yeah.
But don't cross me.
That's right. We are also joined in studio by our producer, Mr. Juan Posada.
Yes.
Cheers to
Shout
Juan.
out to Juan. So, Father, we are drinking this beer. This is an absolutely incredible beer. I mean,
I finished it.
It didn't
already.
last long.
It didn't last
no,
long.
but this is like not one of those like, oh yeah, that's another really good quad, or that's another really good stout, or like, yep, that's a good stout, just like a lot of other good stouts. This one is definitely different.
Oh yeah.
So a couple things. How much is it, and where can people get it?
They can't, right? It was a limited release.
It was a limited release. They might have a few
Okay.
at the brewery itself.
Okay.
I think a few were released into the wild around Oklahoma.
No kidding.
Liquor stores.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was only like $13 for a bottle, which
Really?
is a great price
Yeah, for
for
this.
that
I
size,
kinda
but
thought this
especially
was
for
gonna
a
be-
barrel-aged beer.
I thought it'd be like 20.
Yeah, I mean, it could easily be, but
Mhm.
13.
Okay,
Wow.
so our topic today.
Wow.
I want to talk a little bit about. The other thing I had a question really about was when the relationship with Jesus, it becomes a, just me thing with Jesus, which is a good thing. But our faith is a communal thing. Like, I think that sometimes you can get into this habit of it's just me and Jesus, me and Jesus, me and Jesus.
Yeah.
And our faith is a communal faith. We're supposed to be in communion in the body of Christ. That sometimes we forget that because you should be increasing your relationship with Jesus, that should in fact actually increase your relationships and who you are as a person in the community.
Yeah, it's a good
Right.
point.
Your
Right?
Jesus is my Jesus too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but I think that some people, Catholics and non-Catholics alike, they just focus so much on just a personal relationship with Jesus, and this personal relationship is a unique understanding.
Almost like to the exclusion of other relationships. Like, I don't have time for you because I'm working on my relationship with Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
And it should be, like that example of the triangle where with husband and wife, and the closer you get to Jesus or God, the closer you two actually become.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the triangle, like that should be, I think, a better understanding,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
What are your thoughts?
If you think, what's the most intimate moment between you and Jesus at Mass? What's that called?
Communion.
I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice.
So naturally, as you draw close to Christ, everyone else is drawing close to Christ, and it draws you all together.
And now we're one in Christ.
So
with-
Christ
with
is like
each other.
the epicenter,
Yeah.
and we all are drawn into,
So
and then sent forth.
one thing I will say about just my own personal relationship with Christ is that when I was single, it was easier, I think. When it was just me, I'd come home and I would, come home from work. I would spend some time in meditation. It was great. And then it was just everything I did was just like because I could kind of be selfish about it,
Yeah.
kind of what you were saying is like, I don't have to make time for anybody else. I can just spend time on like myself and what do I need, what are my spiritual needs. But now that I'm married, and especially now that I have kids, I was talking to my wife about this earlier, it becomes more of an active, my relationship with Christ is no longer about what's my interior. That's important, but it's also about a service-oriented
I'm sure you had the
Yes.
same experience
Oh, yeah,
as a
definitely.
seminary.
I-
A
Oh
seminary,
yeah, I'm sure you do.
Or it's in priesthood, where a lot of my prayer is service-oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Preparing a homily, praying for students, praying for ministry, meditating on how things are going. There's actually a danger that I find is that there's so many kind of service-oriented prayers that I make that sometimes when the service isn't there on breaks or whatnot, it makes me realize, is my relationship with Christ or is my relationship based around these things I do? So there actually is a danger, I find, and that's the beauty of being able to go on retreat or just taking some time alone in prayer, is that this is about my relationship with Christ, not about the service that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's important to have that too.
And I think that's a good example of why I wanted to talk about this today, because I know that I get so caught up in these day-to-day things, and even if I am doing them for the right reason, out of service, am I doing it with Christ in mind? And that is the foundational difference. It's sort of like the difference between a natural virtue and a supernatural virtue. When done out of love
For Christ.
out of true charity, that's when the virtue becomes meritorious for us in the Christian life. And so I just was hoping to have a good conversation where
Yeah.
where I could also help remind myself.
Yeah, and that's
about
kind
all
of
of this.
one of the things that really enhanced my relationship, like a personal relationship with Jesus, was having a adoration hour every week.
Yes.
Making sure to have an adoration hour every week. I dare men to do it, to sign up for 1 hour a week and see if something doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Absolutely.
something will. Your prayer life will definitely increase.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something, and it's awkward at first. Like, I struggled with adoration for a while, for a long time. I still went, but I wasn't used to the silence. I wasn't used to sitting still. I didn't know what to do. I was like, should I be rigid about praying the rosary and then read this book and then make sure I say the Divine Mercy chaplet before I leave? And it's just like, there's all these things that I wanted to do, and I wasn't sure what.
Yeah, how many rules do I want to put for myself?
I'm just going to make it a hashtag so it becomes a thing. Adoration challenge. Hashtag adoration challenge. Now everyone has to do it.
You have to.
Because if it's a hashtag something challenge, you have to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the nuzzle challenge or muzzle challenge, like you put your fingers out and the dog's like supposed to put their hands through, or then its nose through your
I did
hands.
not know about
That's
this.
like some
I
kind
didn't
of
either.
challenge now. Like,
Well,
it has to happen if you put
Adoration
a hashtag.
challenge is way better
Yeah.
than that one.
I agree.
So I challenge you to take an hour a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like going to mass. I've heard it like go to mass one more time a week than you're going now, and it'll change your life. Adoration is exactly the same way. Like I
Without
have
some of the supernatural graces.
well, they're supernatural. They're different.
Yeah.
Definitely mass is the epitome. It's the zenith of the grace-filled life.
Okay.
But adoration is, it's like it's not about either or. It's a both and,
Right.
Which we love in Catholicism. I have adoration on Friday mornings at 6:00, and I go from 6 to 7 adoration, and then it's at St. John's Hospital, and there's 7:00 mass. So I go from adoration to mass, and when I leave, and I go get my muffin afterwards for breakfast,
Spiritually bulletproof.
it's like I am just loving it. I'm just, if we were measuring it by emotions, then I would just be getting a 10 out of 10.
It's hard
every
to have a
time.
bad day after that.
I agree.
Yeah. Because it's centered around Christ. You made sure at the beginning it's centered around Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was thinking on the way over about a relationship with Christ. Just a new relationship with anyone can be awkward at first. So I've met like 1,000 new freshmen over the last 2 weeks. And there's just a lot of awkwardness in meeting people. I think it's like 800 freshmen. So in just seeing them meet each other, me meeting them meeting me, them meeting the rest of the Newman Center community, there's just an initial awkwardness. It's like, I don't know you. I don't know how you act. I don't know how you speak.
Right.
I don't know what you're interested in. I can't remember your name. But as you get to know them more and more, it becomes more casual and a lot easier.
To the point of where you can share Jesus your new shoes.
Where you're just hanging.
Yeah. Right, because if you like guy you just met, like, hey, oh, it's nice to meet you. What do you think of my new shoes?
Okay, weirdo.
Yeah.
They look nice, man.
Yeah.
I'm
not giving you my cell phone number.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think it's the same thing with adoration, same thing with Christ. When you sit down in silence and have that time with him, at first you might be like, so what do we do? Yeah, I'm getting kind of bored. Let's pray a rosary. Okay.
Sure.
Oh, did that.
Yeah.
Oh, 40 minutes left. Oh, there's a book. I'm going to read that book. Okay, read that for a while. Now what do I do? Let's read some prayers. But after a while, you'll just come into adoration and just share with Jesus whatever's on your heart. Listen to him a little bit, let him share what's on his heart for you.
Yeah.
And as I've realized too, the deeper you grow in relationship, the more you're willing to just sit there and maybe listen or just sit there in silence than you are to talk. When you're first meeting someone, it's like question. I want to get to know you, learn all these things about you. But at the end after a while, after months, after years, you're like, I can just sit here and on the couch with you, and I don't even have to say anything.
Totally.
I think guys
You're
are
just wasting
especially
time
Guys
with
are
him.
especially good at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
but yeah,
so
you
you
can't
went
sit
fishing
there.
all day. What'd you talk about? Not much.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
We were fishing.
Yeah.
We're just there, and we're
Yeah.
best buddies because of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that is something. You cannot sit there in silence with somebody you don't know. It is the worst. It's like even when you're at the doctor's office and there's somebody else in the waiting room and you're both being quiet, it's like, we're not supposed to talk to each other.
So
like, there's
what do
no-
you got?
Right.
Why are you here?
Pull out your cell phone and pretend it's not awkward.
Right. Yeah, but it's like just the
Can
fact
you
that
check
they're
this
there.
real quick? What is this right here?
There's something in us that like we know we're supposed to like be communal, but the fact that that's
Yeah.
not happening, it's weird. It's just very weird.
I don't know. I'm an introvert, so sitting in silence with somebody isn't that weird.
Yeah. Well, it is for some other people.
Sometimes I have to remember that and say, "Oh, I should probably talk to them."
But it's just about remembering, I think, to invite Jesus along. Just whatever you're doing. I know Saint Jose Maria Escrivá was very big about this. Like, just that Jesus cares about you so much. He cares about the shampoo that when you're like in Walmart and you're looking at the 100 different shampoos and you're like, which one should I get? Jesus, you think, oh, Jesus doesn't care about that. He does. He cares about like every little decision you make. And inviting him into everything, absolutely everything.
He cares about being there with you.
Right.
But I'd say if you don't bring Jesus along, you can't invite others to meet him.
Ooh,
Boom.
That's a great way to end it.
Boom.
Father Bryan, thanks so much for hanging out with us this evening.
Yeah, definitely.
And bringing the beer.
Oh, yeah.
Delicious.
There's more where that came from.
Great news.
All right.
Okay, so the cigar cutter was the gear. Go be a better man. Go be a better Christian. We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
And cheers to Jesus. Sweet.
Okay.
Now I can stop.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, hit in the bottom left. There you go.
I was hoping that you were going to do that. Like.